The Galactic Entertainment Complex on Station Harmony 7 was packed that evening. Ava Martinez settled into her seat, adjusting the atmospheric controls to something resembling Earth standard. Beside her, Oliver Chon was already munching on what the vendor had optimistically called popcorn, but tasted more like salted foam. "I can't believe they're screening this," Oliver said, grinning at the marquee hologram floating above them. Category 5, The Earth Chronicles. Rated XX for extreme psychological terror. Eva laughed, drawing confused looks from the Valorian couple in front of them. The amphibious beings had sealed themselves in personal atmospheric bubbles, their skin already displaying patterns of anxiety. Throughout the theater, representatives from dozens of species settled in, many with what appeared to be medical support staff nearby. The lights dimmed. A Craxi theater attendant made an announcement in common tongue, warning that the following presentation contained scenes of catastrophic atmospheric violence from Earth, and that viewer discretion was advised. Several species had already requested sedation protocols. Oliver leaned toward Eva. 20 credits says at least 5 species. Walk out in the first 10 minutes. You're on, she whispered back. The screen flickered to life with ominous music. The title card appeared. Witness the horrors of Death World Climate. Eva had to suppress a snort. The documentary opened with footage of a typical spring day in Oklahoma. Dark clouds gathering on the horizon. Behold, the narrator's voice trembled with dramatic gravity. The formation of Earth's most terrifying atmospheric predator, the tornado. The camera zoomed in on a funnel cloud touching down. Behind them, something that sounded like a Thraxian's breathing apparatus started wheezing in distress. Eva glanced back to see the insectoid alien gripping its seat with all 6 appendages. "That's only an F2, Oliver muttered, tilting his head. "Maybe F3 at best. Decent rotation, though. 7 out of 10 on structure," Eva agreed quietly. "But the debris field is weak." On screen, the tornado tore through an empty field, kicking up dust and tumbleweeds. The music swelled to a crescendo. A Valorian in the front row made a sound like a boiling kettle and fled up the aisle. Several others followed. The documentary shifted to hurricane footage. Satellite views showed a massive spiral of clouds approaching the Gulf Coast. The narrator described it as an apocalyptic vortex spanning hundreds of kilometers, with winds capable of demolishing entire settlements. "Oh, that's Hurricane Michael," Eva recognized it immediately. 2018. That was a beast. Solid 9 out of 10. Oliver nodded appreciatively. Great eye definition. Though personally, I think Katrina had better overall presentation. More dramatic flooding sequences. A Kixian diplomat several rows behind them started hyperventilating into a breathing apparatus. Medical staff rushed over with calming aerosols. Throughout the theater, aliens clutched their seats, tentacles, or appendages in terror as the hurricane made landfall. The humans in the audience, however, had a different reaction entirely. "Ooh, watch that storm surge," someone called from the back. It sounded like Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez from the Earth Diplomatic Corps. "Beautifully shot," another human voice agreed. "Love the lightning timing with the wind gusts." The documentary's narrator seemed to grow more desperate, as if sensing the material wasn't landing as intended. The scene shifted to winter footage. But Earth's atmospheric horrors are not limited to warm seasons. Behold the ice storm, where frozen precipitation accumulates at fatal velocities. The screen showed a blizzard in full force, whiteout conditions reducing visibility to near zero. Wind speeds were displayed in the corner, 120 kilometers per hour. "That's it?" Oliver said, loud enough that nearby aliens flinched. "That's barely a Category 1 winter storm. I've driven through worse to get to work." "Remember the Buffalo storm of '22? Eva said. Now that was cinematic. This is amateur hour. A four-armed Centauran turned around, its face displaying a complex pattern that their translator registered as utter bewilderment. You find these phenomena inadequate? Well, yeah, Oliver shrugged. I mean, it's decent disaster footage, but calling it a horror film? Come on, where's the drama? Where's the build-up? The alien's chromatic skin shifted through several colors denoting confusion, fear, and incomprehension before it turned back around. Muttering something their translator couldn't parse, the documentary moved on to thunderstorms. Close-up shots of lightning strikes, hail the size of golf balls, and rotating supercells filled the screen. The narrator's voice had taken on an almost pleading quality. Each of these storms, he intoned, carries enough energy to power a modern civilization for days. The electrical discharges alone can instantly terminate most carbon-based life forms. 6 out of 10, called out another human voice. I've seen better shelf clouds in Kansas. Weak anvil development, someone else critiqued. The updraft rotation is decent, though, a third human conceded. Eva noticed the theater was now clearly divided. On one side, galactic species huddled in various states of distress, some with medical staff administering sedatives, others having already fled. On the other side, the 24 or so humans present were having what appeared to be a meteorological conference, debating the merits of various Earth weather phenomena with the enthusiasm of sports fans. You know what this documentary is missing? Oliver said thoughtfully as footage of a dust storm appeared on screen. They haven't even touched on derechos. Now those are spectacular. Or that weird green sky phenomenon before major tornadoes, Eva added. That's peak atmospheric horror right there. The Valorian couple in front of them had enough. They stood abruptly, their atmospheric bubbles wobbling as they hurried toward the exit. As they passed, Eva heard one say to the other in translated common tongue, I told you we should have seen the romantic comedy about the peaceful garden world instead. The documentary was building to its finale, footage of multiple weather systems. Hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, and thunderstorms, all cut together in rapid succession. The music reached a fever pitch. The narrator's voice cracked with dramatic intensity. This is Earth, a world where the very sky wages war upon its surface, where atmospheric violence is not an anomaly but a constant. How any species survives such conditions is beyond scientific comprehension. How humanity not only survived, but thrived, because it's Tuesday. Oliver called out, and the other humans burst into laughter. The documentary ended. The lights came up. Of the 300 non-human attendees, fewer than 50 remained, most looking traumatized. The 23 humans present, however, immediately began an animated discussion. I'm giving it 4 stars overall, Eva announced, checking her personal tablet to log her review. Good cinematography, decent storm selection, but the commentary was way too melodramatic. Agreed, Oliver said. Also, they completely ignored lake effect snow. That's a major oversight. As they filed out of the theater, they passed the Croxy attendant, who had given the initial warning. The mantis-like alien stared at them with incomprehension in all 6 of its eyes. Did you not find it terrifying? It asked in halting standard English. Eva smiled kindly. It was cute. Very educational. Though next time, maybe include the 2011 super outbreak. Now that's entertainment. Oliver nodded. Or the tri-state tornado of 1925. Classic cinema. The alien's mandibles clicked in what might have been distress. You people are insane. Nah, Oliver grinned as they headed toward the exit. We're just from Earth. Behind them, they could hear other humans still debating storm ratings, arguing about which hurricane had the best eye wall definition, and planning to write reviews criticizing the documentary's weather phenomenon selection criteria dot in the theater lobby. The marquee was already being updated. Where it had previously advertised Category 5, The Earth Chronicles, as extreme horror, a new designation was being added. Comedy, human audiences only. Eva checked her communicator and saw that the human diplomatic corps had already started a group chat titled Earth Weather Rating Committee. Someone had created a detailed spreadsheet ranking every storm shown in the other documentary. You know, she said to Oliver as they headed back to their quarters on the station. We should totally host a watch party for the sequel. They're making a sequel? According to the theater feed, yes. Monsoons and typhoons. The Asian atmospheric terror. Oliver's eyes lit up. Oh, definitely. I'll bring actual popcorn from Earth. The good stuff. As they disappeared into the crowd of station traffic, behind them, the theater staff began the lengthy process of providing psychological support to the traumatized alien viewers, none of whom could quite comprehend how the humans had not only survived their planet's atmosphere, but actually seemed to miss it. The cleaning crew found 17 abandoned atmospheric support bubbles, 4 medical emergency kits that had been opened but not used, and a small pile of sedation applicators. They also found, on nearly every seat the humans had occupied, 5-star rating cards for the Galactic Entertainment Complex, all with the same comment: great weather footage. Could use better storm selection. Will recommend to other humans.